Hello, so this is the societal cost of obesity. According to researchers at Ball State University in Indiana, obesity is on the rise. Estimates based on their early research show that by 2030, in the absence of any intervening actions, a third of all children between the ages of 6 and 11 will be considered obese or overweight. No doubt that is a shocking statistic. Lead researcher Dr. Yufa Wang pointed out that the study did rely on a small sample. Broader research is still necessary to see where current trends are genuinely heading, and if the outlook is as dire as many believe, but he did caution that obesity is an issue that society must deal with. It is unlikely that obesity and related health problems in the US will become less serious in the future. We need to continue and enhance our efforts in fighting the obesity epidemic. But what exactly is obesity? How is it defined? And is it really at epidemic levels? Or is the reality far less concerning than the research and the news are telling us? And what are the actual costs of obesity, if any at all? So is obesity impact solely on the individual whose BMI lists them as overweight? The answer is much more complicated, as the whole of society, fit or not, suffers some consequences. Based on recent statistics, the nation's overall obesity rate is nearly 40%. As of September 2018, 7 states have an obesity rate that exceeds 35%. Another 22 states have a rate above 30%. In all, 48 states have obesity rates above 25%. The exceptions, Hawaii and Colorado. With rates at 23 and 22 respectively. A more in-depth look at the numbers reveal even more upsetting trends. From the 2014 National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, 2 in 3 adults were considered overweight, 1 in 3 adults were deemed to be obese, 1 in 13 adults were found to be extremely obese, 1 in 6 adolescents, ages 2 to 19, were considered obese. Being obese, however, is more than just numbers and percentages. Numerous factors may play a role in why someone is or becomes obese. A few of the most common include eating habits, sedentary lifestyle, medical conditions or medications, economic or social concerns, geography, heredity. Regardless of the source of obesity, genuine health and societal risks are associated with carrying too much weight. Obesity, however, is not isolated to its impact on the health concerns of the individual. Increasingly, as obesity rates continue to climb, so does its economic consequences. As we mentioned earlier, obesity impacts everyone, even those who are not obese. Based on the several estimates, the U.S. has spent anywhere from $150 billion to upwards of $190 billion each year on obesity-related costs. Some put that range even higher. This includes diagnosis and treatment, as well as prevention-related costs. By 2030, a little over a decade away, those numbers could increase by as much as $66 billion a year. Those figures, though, only take into account direct costs. They do not account for lost work, insurance costs, or overall lower wages. According to some of the most prevalent reports, these secondary financial consequences are even larger burden than that of the direct medical cost of obesity. As its most extreme, obesity may prove to be one of mankind's worst maladies. Taken from research firm McKinsey and Company, obesity impact on global GDP at $2.1 trillion ranks just behind that of smoking and the combined classification of armed violence, war, and terrorism, both with a 2.1 trillion global GDP impact. In other words, obesity is one of the top 3 social burdens created by humans. So that's what all this one's about. Thank you for listening.